Conor McGregor has stunned the MMA community as new reports reveal that he's been suspended by USADA following a failed drug test. Fans across the world can't believe the news.
Who is coming back to the UFC despite being banned from fighting. Nothing's ever simple with Conor McGregor, is it? McGregor has accepted an 18-month period of ineligibility for a violation of the UFC anti-doping policy. And that 18 months was actually negotiated down from 24 months. And I'm led to believe that this is not that uncommon. Like Nate Diaz has done this before and he got way less of a punishment. Some people speculating that the fact that he gave him 24 months means this isn't the first time he's done this. And when you think about the way McGregor's been living his life for the past few years, it's not that surprising. If there's anyone who doesn't need to take a drugs test in the last 5 years, it's Conor McGregor. I mean, the answer is yes, all of them. And honestly, I don't really have that much of a problem with it because he hasn't been anywhere near a cage. The one thing that was a bit iffy was something that my guy Wade Plemons pointed out, where he said 3 times missing whereabouts, one of which would have been the day before he pulled out of the Michael Chandler fight. Now, you could put that down to the fact that McGregor must have known I'm going to pull out anyway, so fuck this. But Conor McGregor always prided himself on being a clean athlete, and I think we know for a fact now, given the physical shape has changed. Post-leg break, he was on some kind of hormones, he was on something. Even when he had a back and forth with me, he was mentioning like hormones and stuff. I'm like, this guy's so weird. It was on his brain, and literally you could see some changes in his physique. Personally, I don't actually have that much of a...
Surprisingly, this suspension might not be as bad as it sounds. Even though McGregor has officially been sidelined from UFC competition until March, that still gives him plenty of time to stage his long-awaited comeback at the UFC White House event. And if there's one thing we all know about Conor McGregor, it's that he never stays down for long.
Sent this on such incredible authority, but I feel a responsibility to then find out that the source of the source who put his name on it, which is Sean Sheehan. Sean Sheehan is an excellent reporter, largely operates on social media, and offhand, I can't tell you a time that he's been wrong. Okay, so let's try to digest this based on the information that we've got. McGregor missed 3 attempted biological sample collections. Means Conor missed 3 drug tests. Within a 12-month period in 2024, which constitutes a violation of the UFC anti-doping policy, CSAD, officials wrote in a press release. UFC athletes are required to provide accurate whereabout information at all times, so they can be contacted and submit to biological sample collections without prior warning. Drug tests. They're making this very fair. Biological sample collections, just so you understand, drug tests. McGregor missed tests, which occurred June 19th, September 19, and September 20 of the year 2024, and were each classified as whereabouts failures. Okay. You guys now literally and in words have the same information as I do. I want to share that because now there's going to be a little bit of guessing by me. I'm going to try to guess what this means. So just so you understand what a whereabouts violation is, you have to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There's no exceptions. When you're in the pool, you have to let them know where you will be. And that can be a colossally difficult thing to do for anybody, but particularly Conor McGregor. My phone just buzzed, guys. I'm getting something else. The suspension, let me read this to you. Okay, we're doing this together. The suspension and the expiration date when McGregor is eligible to compete again won't interfere with his planned return to action, which he has repeatedly stated comes for the UFC White House card, which is scheduled.
I want to see him fight on the White House card. This is much ado about nothing because you say to yourself, oh, he's good until, he's good as of, I should say, March 21st. Great. If you are someone who believes that, he doesn't play by the rules, okay, this is significant. So it's kind of the way in which you want to slice it. But this doesn't so when my nephews are texting me, it's like, oh, now he can't fight on the White House card. No, if you just read suspended 18 months, you're like, oh shit, he's not fighting on the White House card. But then you have to understand that it's retroactive to June, or I guess September of last year. And now you realize that he's good to go as of March 20th. But there's no, there's no beating around the bush here. You recall in 2023 when the relationship with USADA and the UFC fizzled, he was kind of at the center of all of it. And he has talked openly about, removing himself from the testing pool in order to get back to 100%. Missing tests or not being where you are supposed to be will result in strikes. And if you miss 3, as they are saying he did, you get suspended. Any thoughts on this, guys? What do you guys say? What do you guys think? Much ado about nothing?
Much ado about nothing, but I do wonder why 18 months. It does feel particularly harsh. Like, I went back because I did remember that there were some other people. Yair Rodriguez got 6 months for the same offense, and Nick Diaz got 12 months for the same offense.
Interesting.
So why is Conor's 18? It just feels... I don't know if... Yeah.
Sorry, that it was 24 months and they're actually going down.
Yeah.
There. So
why was it initially 24 even? That's
yeah.
even more.
Well, that part is like you can kind of negotiate that, right? And then accept the terms. That's where they...
Well, by the way, if it's 24 months, he ain't fighting on the White House card.
Yeah, exactly. It's convenient that it would be 18 as opposed to 24. But why even either of those numbers when previously we have seen athletes in the same organization
is it
be
possible
for 6 and be for 12?
Is it possible that this is the second
Could be
offense, meaning
the second time that he has done 12 months of whereabouts.
I don't know. PT, what do you think?
I think, once he's able to fight in the White House card, I don't think anyone really cares,
Yeah. But I mean, it does add to what people were saying about his physique and the testing and all that stuff.
Wait, but did he not at the time basically say this is all above board? Like I felt at the time like he was kind of like, yeah, this is happening. I broke my...
According to sources within the UFC, even with the suspension in place, McGregor has stayed in regular contact with Dana White and the team behind the upcoming White House event. He's reportedly made it clear that he intends to headline this historic card.
If you've only used it after a leg break in order to heal properly from the leg break, then fair enough. And honestly, the way this guy's been living the last 5 years, I don't think for 1 second he's going to have an unfair advantage, whoever he fights. I think he is in a race against the clock. Even the fact that this is going to be so far away, to come back from that level of partying for that length of time, to look anything like you used to look after a leg break like that, which was horrendous. If he comes back and fights in the UFC and even looks, half as good as he used to look, it'll be impressive. I mean, it's a bit weird to give him credit, yeah, well done, you did loads of gear and fucking, got pissed every night. You now look better than what I thought you would. I mean, he did that to himself, but it's a challenge. It's funny that the rivalry between him and Khabib, the hatred is still there to some degree, because he posted the fact that Conor McGregor had been banned, and I'm like, mate, you beat him. Why are you still rubbing salt in the wounds? Now, this is a concept image of what UFC White House is going to look like, and it is fucking insane. It's going to be in June. McGregor's ban is over in March, so he will have served his ban, because they're backdating it basically from when he didn't fight, and he will still be able to make the walk in front of Donald Trump's house. I mean, look at these images. Wow, this is going to look fucking mental. Apparently they're going to make the ring walk from the Oval Office. It's so stupid, but I love it. That office is where people have decided, yeah, we're going to go to war, we're going to drop a bomb, something really serious, and then it's Conor McGregor, hey, it's mental. And despite my skepticism of him actually showing up, Conor is saying it's a done deal.
Is this a done deal? You're in?
Done deal, signed, delivered. It ain't a negotiation.
Wow.
It's a done deal, signed, delivered. McGregor will compete in the White House for UFC's for the America's 250th
Did you talk
birthday.
to Dana about it? Dana's got to sign off, I would imagine, no?
Me and Dana are in constant communications. We've done incredible business together. I'm the highest generating fighter of all time in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. They've just signed a breathtaking deal with Paramount, where we go to cable TV. $7.7 billion that deal was accrued for, and ready to rock, baby. Bring in the big dog, the Mac G.
It's just so fun.
None of this is collectively bargained. So for those that don't know, the UFC fighters have to, if Arman Tsarukyan decides to go on a trip to Cancun, he has to update his whereabouts on an app so that they don't go to his home, ring the doorbell, he's not there, and say, what the hell? They need to know where you are every single day. if you go on vacation with your family, if some fighter decides to go on a road trip and doesn't tell them where they are, and doesn't say, hey, I'm not going to be at the gym on these days and I'm not going to be home and I'm going to be actually in Vermont, you get a strike for that. And I just think that's wild. I think that's wild as an independent contractor, having to tell your promotion, not your employer, because if you were having to tell your employer you would be an employee, having to tell them 24/7, 365 where you are. And oh, by the way, they also tell you what to wear when you do compete for them. That's pretty damn strict. I always make this comparison. The guy who comes to my house, my freezer, I have an upright freezer in my garage. It broke. There's a guy coming to my house on Friday. I can't ask that guy to tell me where he's going to be between now and Friday.
Even though the doping controversy has stirred up plenty of debate, McGregor himself doesn't seem bothered at all. He's described it as just a small setback before an epic comeback. Fans are already buzzing about who he might face in Washington. Some predict Ilia Topuria, who's been throwing verbal jabs recently, while others are hoping for another clash with Dustin Poirier or a massive trilogy fight with Nate Diaz to revive one of the UFC's most iconic rivalries. But here's the interesting part. Many insiders actually think this suspension could end up benefiting McGregor. The reason? It gives him several months of focused, pressure-free training, something he hasn't had in years. If he returns sharp, disciplined, and fully motivated, we might witness the best version of Conor McGregor in a long time. Analysts like Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, and several other UFC veterans have already weighed in, saying that while this ban might hurt his image a little, it won't affect his star power, because when Conor steps into the octagon, the whole world tunes in. The upcoming UFC White House card is already shaping up to be one of the biggest spectacles in sports history, with Dana White confirming an expected crowd of 80,000 fans and global free coverage. Now, the question everyone's asking is simple. Will Conor McGregor walk out on that iconic stage in Washington, D.C., ready to reclaim his throne? Or will this doping scandal continue to shadow his legacy?